Good evening, everyone. We're ready to begin tonight's City of Gardena regular City Council meeting for April 10th, 2018. I'd like to first start off by reminding everyone to please silence all of your cell phones, if not turning them off. And tonight we're going to start with our roll call. Madam City Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Yes, Madam Mayor, all of our council members are present.
Okay, thank you. Mr. City Attorney, do we have anything to report from closed session?
No reportable action was taken.
Okay, thank you. So we're going to begin next with our Pledge of Allegiance. Tonight it will be led by Yana Iwanko and Brandon Reyes. Immediately following that, if everyone can continue standing as we're led in our invocation by Mrs. Joyce S. Watanabe. So please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, of liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Watanabe?
O God, O thou who hast cast thy splendor over the luminous realities of men, shedding upon them the resplendent lights of knowledge and guidance, and hast chosen them out of all created things for this supernal grace, and has caused them to encompass all things, to understand their inmost essence, and to disclose their mysteries, bringing them forth out of darkness into the visible world. He verily showeth his special mercy to whomsoever he will. O Lord, help thou thy loved ones to acquire knowledge and the sciences and arts, and to unravel the secrets that are treasured up in the inmost reality of all created beings. Make them to hear the hidden truths that are written and embedded in the heart of all that is. Make them to be ensigns of guidance amongst all creatures, and piercing rays of the mind shedding forth their light in this the first life. Make them to be leaders unto thee, guides unto thy path, runners urging men on to thy kingdom. Thou verily art the powerful, the protector, the potent, the defender, the mighty, the most generous.
Okay, thank you. Everyone may be seated. If I can have our two pledgers come back to the front, please. So tonight's Pledge of Allegiance was led by two students from Amstroy Elementary School, whose principal is Mr. Hugh Ryan. I believe he's here in the audience. Thank you for being here tonight with us. Come to the podium again, please. So Jana is the student council president at Amstroy Elementary School. And Jana, would you like to say anything tonight?
I would like to thank you for inviting me here.
Okay, well, thank you for being here. We really appreciate you doing the Pledge of Allegiance. And can you tell us who brought you here to tonight's meeting?
My mom.
Where's your mom at?
She's
Right there. Okay, everyone, give her a round of applause for bringing her out tonight. And Brandon is also a student council member. He's actually the vice president as well. Brandon, would you like to say anything?
Thanks for inviting me.
Okay, well, thank you for being here. Now, who brought you tonight?
My parents.
Where are they at? Let's put them on the spot and make them stand up. Thank you. I'd like to thank both of you guys for leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance tonight and for being outstanding students. And I look forward to seeing you guys come back again and lead us in the pledge. So again, thank you. You can have a seat now. And if we could have Ms. Watanabe please come back to the front again here. So tonight's invocation was led by Ms. Joyce S. Watanabe of the Baha'i Faith. Ms. Watanabe's family came to Gardena in 1955. Joyce was on the Gardena High School drill team and marched in the Oil Loyalty Day Parade. She graduated with the California Scholarship Federation Gold Seal and went to work at Los Angeles City Hall, where she became secretary to the president of the Board of Public Works. She has designated the Gardena Public Works Division as the beneficiary of her final pension check from the Los Angeles City Employees Retirement System. Joyce became a member of the Baha'i Faith in 1965. She worked at the Baha'i International Headquarters in Illinois and at the International Headquarters in Israel, where she was one of 600 Baha'i from 50 countries. The first Gulf War began at that time, and she carried her gas mask with her everywhere. Later, while living in Northern California, Ms. Watanabe was secretary to the San Francisco Port Director and to the Golden Gate Bridge Chief Engineer. She retired from College of Marin and returned to her teenage home in Gardena. Since then, she has invited other South Bay Baha'i to walk in the Gardena Martin Luther King Parade, the Martin Luther King Parade and the Cinco de Mayo Parade. Ms. Watanabe was the writer and publisher of the Gardena Valley Friends of the Library newsletter for a dozen years. In February of 2015, she was honored by the YWCA Gardena Valley with the Woman of Excellence Crimson Award for her dedicated efforts as a community volunteer. Ms. Watanabe, would you like to say anything?
Mayor Serda and members of the Gardena City Council, the Baha'is of Gardena congratulate Gardena's first woman mayor on your first State of the City report last month. Congratulations to City Manager Ed Medrano on your permanent appointment, and congratulations to our new Police Chief, Tom Kang, on his promotion. Baha'i prayers typically end with some of God's attributes. Tonight's prayer ended, "Thou verily art the powerful, the protector, the potent, the defender, the mighty, the most generous." We are created in God's image and likeness, so you and I and everyone in this chamber is powerful, a protector, potent, a defender, mighty, and most generous. God is the creator, so we are creators. And because we are created noble, we can create good government, an honest business, a useful library, a helpful invention, comfortable red shoes. We can create a good relationship and goodwill. Thank you.
Thank you. So next we're going to move on to presentations tonight. And as our new custom now, we honor a veteran at all of our city council meetings. And tonight's veteran that we'll be honoring is Arnold G. Ramirez. And I'm going to read his bio here, and then afterwards, as he comes up, I'm going to let Councilmember Kaskanian say a few words in regards to that being your person you chose this council meeting. So Arnold G. Ramirez was born in Gardena, California, 91 years ago. At the age of 3, he lost his mother and 3 older sisters from tuberculosis. He was then raised by his grandmother until her death. He was 10 years old at the time. Rather than go live in an orphanage, he went to live with an aunt. In February of 1946, at the age of 18, Mr. Ramirez enlisted in the U.S. Army and reported to Fort Belvoir, Virginia, where he received his basic training. He was able to continue his education, earning a high school GED, and he received specialist training in automotive maintenance. Arnold was then transferred to Korea, where he served as a supply clerk with the 340th Engineering Construction Battalion. His responsibilities were requisition, issue, and distribute supplies to company personnel. While in Korea, he was injured and lost one of his good friends because of an explosive. There was fire damage to Ramirez's eyes, face, and nose. This caused temporary blindness. He continued to heal after serving some additional time in the U.S. Army. He was later issued an honorable discharge with injuries, leaving at the rank of technician 5th grade. Following his military service, he returned to Gardena. 18 months later, he married the love of his life, Ana Montez Ramirez. Veteran Ramirez continued to serve his family, raising 4 children here in Gardena. His community activities have included many charitable efforts with the Gardena Sister City Association, representing Gardena countless times with our sister city of Guatabampo, Mexico, for which both he and his wife Anna were honored on the city's Wall of Fame in 1998 by the mayor, city council, and the citizens of Gardena. Although now 91 years old, Arnold Ramirez continues to serve this grateful community. So next, as he comes forward, Councilmember Cascanian, would you like to say a few words?
Yes, Madam Mayor, thank you very much. I just want to say a few things. Arnold, thank you very much, whatever you've done to us, to the country, and still you continue serving our city of Gardena. We do thank you very much for everything you've done to the community and to the sister city. And I just want to say thank you. And we appreciate your service as of in the Army. And can I present this as well in the meantime too, or?
Yes, we're going to let Mayor Pro Tem read that while you go down and take pictures, and then we'll present it to him. Mr. Ramirez, would you like to say anything at this time?
Yes, thank you very much. For those of you who know Arnold, he's a man of few words, and he gets his point across very much so. But I'd like to read a certificate of recognition written by our Assembly member of the 66th District, Mr. Al Marasucci. The California Legislature Assembly a certificate of recognition to Arnold G. Ramirez, the United States Army. In recognition and celebration of your dedication and service to the United States of America, and with sincere appreciation for your selfless acts of courage, congratulations. Al Marasucci, 66th District Assembly, April 10th, 2018. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Mr. Ramirez, you have the microphone if you'd like to say anything at this time.
Well, not really, because if I get going, you won't stop me. So I'm just going to listen what this gentleman here has to say, and then I may say something.
Okay, well, just so the audience can see, we are presenting Mr. Ramirez with a special commemorative coin that was designed specifically for this event here. Do you want to talk a little bit more in detail about the coin?
Yes, this coin was especially made for all Gardena veterans and military personnel who have served their country. And for those of you who don't realize this, in the next couple of days, you will see his picture on the corner of Redondo Beach Boulevard and Western, right at the Honda mural, or whatever the thing's called, the electric sign. So you'll see that for the next 2 weeks. So for those of you who are, if he's your grandfather or uncle or whatever, you can say, there's Uncle Arnold. He'll be there for the next 2 weeks.
Okay. Well, like I said before, all I got to say is thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next we're going to move on to Gardena Library Week. I have a proclamation here, and as I read that, if we can get the representatives from Mamie Dare Library, I believe it's the new retired manager, Miss Elmita R. Brown, and Elaine Fukumoto. If you guys can please come forward as I read the proclamation here. Gardena Library Week is April 8th through 14th of 2018. And this proclamation reads, whereas 2018 marks the 60th anniversary of National Library Week, first celebrated in April of 1958, as promoted 60 years ago. Our nation's libraries are not just about what they have for people, but what they do for and with people. As libraries have served as a trusted and treasured institution that lead the way in leveling the playing field for all who seek information and access to technology. Whereas librarians are trained professionals helping people of all ages and backgrounds find and interpret the information they need to live, learn, and work in the 21st century. And whereas the officials and citizens of Gardena are justifiably proud of our impressive and thriving library, and whereas Gardena Mamie Dear Memorial Library enjoys a high total circulation of material, which has been achieved despite limited budgets and reducing staff, whereas these expressions of success should be accompanied with proper tribute to the community library manager, Elmita R. Brown, and her trained and dedicated staff. Whereas for the past 53 years, the member of the Gardena Valley Friends of the Library have provided consistent and loyal support to help our library sustain the effectiveness through their valuable service to our community. Whereas on the week of April 8th through 14th, 2018, has been set aside to recognize National Library Week as well as Gardena Library Week with the 2018 theme, Libraries Lead. Now, therefore, the mayor of the city of Gardena of California is happy in concurrence with the foregoing hereby proclamation, April 8th through 14th, 2018, to be Gardena Library Week in our community, and encourage citizens of all ages to visit the Gardena Mamie Dear Library during this week, and urge everyone to become a regular patron throughout the year to take advantage of the wonderful resources available, as well as to acknowledge and thank the librarians and their staff for making information accessible to all who walk through the library's doors. Please. Okay, you have the mic.
Turn it on first. Turn it on.
It is not cooperative.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Mayor and City Council members and staff. I would like to thank you very much for all the support you have given me during my stay at the Gardena Library. I started as a children's librarian here, and I worked for 14 years. After that, I went to the city of Lawndale as community library manager, then went to Hermosa Beach Library as a manager, and on June 24, 2014, I came back to be serving the city again, but at this time as a library manager. It was my pleasure and my honor to be of service to the community of Gardena. So God bless, and thank you very much. With me is Ms. Elaine Fukumoto, the acting library manager.
Would you like to say anything?
Good evening. I grew up in Gardena, and my first job was at the Gardena Mamie Dear Library. So I feel that this is a wonderful opportunity for me to be acting community library manager. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And the Friends of the Library, Ms. Eleanor Bersano.
Yes, you may. And Ms. Bersano, I believe you're the president of the Friends of the Library?
Yes.
Please go ahead.
My name is Eleanor Bersano. I am the current president of the Friends of the Library. And I would like to remind everyone to visit us. Again, the mayor has told us it is the 53rd year, and we had a huge celebration in 2015. I know you all remember that. We have been working together, serving the Gardena community for also many years. And our library is truly a hub of information for the whole city. We Friends will continue supporting the Mamie Dear Library and its many educational programs, along with our first Saturday of the month book sales and our outreach to the community. The FOL, with our community library managers, would like to congratulate the Mamie Dear Library on receiving this 2018 Gardena Library Week's wonderful proclamation, a well-deserved recognition. Thank you, Mayor Surt and City Council.
Thank you. Okay, let's move on to item number 4C, appointments. This is the reorganization of the City Council. Mr. City Manager, I'll let you go ahead and just read that portion there. I guess I could have read it. That's okay. I guess I can go ahead and read this. Agenda item number 4C1. This is the reorganization of the City Council and the selection of a Mayor Pro Tem. Right now, the council action required is to select a Mayor Pro Tem to serve from April 2018 to April of 2019. The recommendation from the staff is that the Mayor Pro Tem's appointments are rotated annually. And I believe in our packets, we have a list of the names of the City of Gardena council members who served in that position as Mayor Pro Tem from April of 1956 to April 2018, which has been provided for us. The council members selected to serve will be seated as Mayor Pro Tem effective at the next City Council meeting. And a copy of our council policy number 97-30. The council bench seating is also offered for our information. Okay, so at this time, we need to take an action of selecting a Mayor Pro Tem, which my understanding is my appointment. And you can acknowledge that, or?
Madam Mayor, you can make a recommendation. It has to be voted by all the members of the City Council.
Okay, so at this time, I'd like to nominate Councilmember Tanaka to serve as the next Mayor Pro Tem for the next year. And I would need a second.
Second.
Okay. Before we take the roll call here, I'd just like to just say very briefly, thank you to Mayor Pro Tem Dan Medina for the year that you've served as our Mayor Pro Tem. You've done a great job. I think this is what, your third time now as a Mayor Pro Tem, so very well standing in my absence. So thank you for your service. We really appreciate that. Thank you. Madam City Clerk, there was a motion made by myself and a second by Councilmember Cascanian. Will you call the roll, please?
Mayor Serta.
Yes.
Councilmember Cascanian.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Medina.
Yes.
Councilmember Henderson.
Yes.
And Councilmember Tanaka.
Thank you.
Yes.
Is that a yes? Okay. Okay, done. No, we're going to move at the next council meeting, so we can just kind of keep moving forward here. Okay, the next item is item number 4C2, which is the reorganization. Do you want to read that? Okay.
Mayor Serta, members of the City Council, a list of proposed council delegate and alternate assignments to outside city committees is provided for council consideration. All of the proposed committees will remain the same if the council approves this recommendation.
Has all the council members had the opportunity to look over the assignments, the outside assignments that we've done? Is everybody satisfied with their positions, or does anybody want to switch anything around? Everyone's good? And I believe we're going to vote on that. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So at this time, can I get a council member to make a motion to vote to keep our current assignments as they are?
So moved.
So, second.
Madam City Clerk, there was a motion made by Councilmember Tanaka and a second by Mayor Pro Tem Medina. Will you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Tanaka.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Medina.
Yes.
Councilmember Henderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Cascanian.
Yes.
Mayor Serta.
Yes. Okay, next up is item number 4C3. Does any member of the council have any appointments to be made to any commissions, committees, boards, or councils at this time?
Yes, Madam Mayor, I do.
Okay, go ahead.
I would like to appoint for Youth Commission Asia Clark.
Okay, Asia Clark.
And Madam Mayor, I have an appointment as well, Ms. Kamai Elias for the Youth Commission.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Mayor, I have a person I'd like to put in as Stephanie Tellez.
Okay, thank you. And then I also have an appointment for the Gardena Youth Commission, Erica Shintaku. Okay, at this time, we're going to go ahead and make a motion to appoint all the members the appointees at this time here. If I can get a council member to make a motion to approve all of them as was stated.
So moved.
Is there a second? Madam City Clerk, there was a motion made by Councilmember Cascanian and a second by Councilmember Henderson. Will you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Cascanian.
Yes.
Councilmember Henderson.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Medina.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Medina. Sorry, Councilman Tanaka.
Yes.
Mayor Serta.
Yes. Okay. Congratulations, you guys. And I need for all of the 1, 2, 3, 4 of you guys to please come forward because at this time we're going to be swearing you in. And if the parents would like to come forward to take pictures of this, you're welcome to right here in the front.
The execution of this oath is required by Article 20, Section 3 of the Constitution of the State of California. I, do solemnly affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter. Congratulations.
Okay. Well, again, congratulations to all of you guys for all the work that you're about to do. So we're looking forward to it. And next, we're moving on to our consent calendar. Does any member of the council have any item that they would like to discuss separately? If not, can I get a motion to approve the consent calendar as is?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Madam City Clerk, there was a motion made by Councilmember Cascanian and a second by Councilmember Henderson. Will you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Cascanian,
Yes.
Councilmember Henderson,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Medina,
Yes.
Councilmember Tanaka,
Yes.
Mayor Serta.
Yes. Okay, moving on to item number 7, which is Planning and Environmental Quality Commission action sheet. The meeting was canceled for April 3rd, but Mr. City Manager, can you talk about some of the changes that we're going to be making in regards to the planning and environmental?
Yes, Madam Mayor. Mayor Serta, members of the City Council, in order to remain attractive to developers and to ensure that we're business friendly, I'm proposing some additional changes to the way we present the Planning and Environmental Quality Action Sheet. This is designed to provide Council a higher level of review, but but not necessarily a call for review on projects that come before you. So for example, the city Planning Environmental Commission reviews these and they come to you after that. Many times at the Planning Commission, several of you have been Planning Commissioners, you get a detailed overview with elevations and some of the traffic and parking questions answered. What I'd like to do as we move forward, as we present these to the City Council for approval, is to request from all of you if you have any concerns or want a special presentation on them, and then I will facilitate having a presentation with, you know, the elevations and all of the detailed information, and provide a real short presentation, because we want to ensure our community, the City Council, knows and fully understands what they're approving. You have a visual, you can ask the questions from myself or staff so that you feel comfortable for the project. That does two things. Once again, it's transparency, shows that the City Council is fully engaged, and two, it also shows that we're partnering with our developers to not call for reviews as often and hold their projects up for an additional month, et cetera. I think it's a win-win for both the city and you know, individuals or corporations want to invest in our city, and it's an additional opportunity for staff to show that they're doing their due diligence, that we present quality projects to the City Council for approval.
Okay, can you give us a little bit more detail? When would that be presented to us? Would it be prior to the meeting, in between the meetings, or exactly when?
Yeah, at the time you receive your council packages, I would ask that any time thereafter, if you want a special additional information provided, I can do it even up to the last minute. It's simply all the stuff that is already the matter of record and been in front of the Planning Commission. We can have the elevations here for you to look at. We'll have all the information. I'll have staff that reviewed the project there. And if even necessary, we could have the applicant. It is not a review. It is more of a presentation, so you fully understand the project and thus don't have to take on the additional review if necessary.
Okay, and just so every council member knows, we still, even after all of that, if we still want to review it, we still have that option. So and so the audience knows as well, we're not taking that option away.
Absolutely not.
I just, like it was mentioned, it just helps us be more business friendly as far as working with our developers here.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next, we're going to move on to oral communications. We have 3 speakers. First one is Kimberly Hatton from Sarah High School. And then after Kimberly, we have Mabad Shayani from the Baha'i Faith. And then afterwards, we have Shul Sherman.
Well, good evening, and it's been a while since I've been here, so good evening, Madam Mayor, City Council, and residents of Gardena. Kimberly Hatton, excited to share with you some news regarding news for Sarah High School. And I'm going to go back a few months because it's been a few months since I've been here. So I will start off with saying congratulations to our Lady Cavaliers, who are 2017-2018 girls basketball champion, girls basketball CIF Division I California State champions. Sarah girls basketball defeated Sacred Heart Cathedral in San Francisco to capture the state championship with a final score of 70-54 on March 23rd. Congratulations, Lady Cavaliers. Our very own Mackenzie Hadley was named Cal High Sports 2017-2018 California Girls Basketball Coach of the Year. The Lady Cavaliers finished the season 25-8, playing one of the toughest schedules in the country, and finished the season ranked 5th in California and 15th in the country by Max Preps. Congratulations once again to our Lady Cavaliers. Come one, come all to our 8th annual car show. Come join the fun at Sarah High School as the Sarah High School Booster Club presents the 8th annual car show. Bring your favorite rig or ride to participate on April 21st, Saturday, from 10 to 3 p.m. Sarah High School ambassadors, our life team and members of ASB attended the Vietnam Memorial Wall, a traveling memorial on Saturday, April 7th. We participated and led the Pledge of Allegiance. The traveling Vietnam Wall is a half-size replica of the memorial in Washington that is taken all over the United States. We were honored to share in this experience. And welcome to the 3rd annual Sarah Cavalier Golf Classic. Win Friday, April 27th. Our tournament schedule will begin at 11 a.m. with check-in and then a putting contest. This will be held at Chester, Washington Golf Course with dinner and awards immediately following. So we hope to see you all on April 27th, Friday. And if you'd like to have additional information, it is on our website, or you can come see me after the City Council meeting. Going back a few months, National Signing Day was a big one at Sarah High School. We had 8 Cavalier student athletes announce their college destination on February 7th. Girls soccer, Kobe Wilson at Eastern Washington High School. That's the school she chose. Girls basketball, Lauren Pointer selected UC Riverside. And boys football, we had a total of 6. John Jackson selected USC. Vitaly Vinau selected California State University, San Luis Obispo. Oh, Kobe Smith, can I finish?
Go ahead.
Kobe Smith selected Air Force Academy. Brian Addison, UCLA, who's an All-American and participated in the Under Armour Bowl and Polynesian Bowl. And Merlin Robertson selected Arizona State University, All-American, Under Armour Bowl, and Polynesian Bowl. And finally, signups for the high school placement test will be on April 14th at 9 a.m. at Sarah High School. And so if you're an 8th grade student and plan on attending a Catholic high school, you must take the HSPT. Thank you so much. And on behalf of our principal, Jeff Guzman, we thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next is Mabod Shiani from the Baha'i Faith. And then afterwards is Cheryl Sherman.
Good evening, Mayor Serda and gentlemen. Excuse me. My name is Mabod Shayani, and I'm part of the Baha'i community. And I bring you greetings from the communities in Chile, in South America. I came to study in United States in 1970s from my country of Iran. And I'm happy to say that Gardena was my first city, first town that to come and live in 1973. Having a good experience then basically kept me in the South Bay area for the next 11 years. One of the principles of the Baha'i faith is unity, and unity through diversity. And in October of 2016, we inaugurated a Baha'i temple in Santiago de Chile, receiving more than 5,000 people from 102 countries. I certainly would like to invite you to visit Chile and also visit the Baha'i Temple in Santiago. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next is Cheryl Sherman.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. Cheryl Sherman, Vice President of Friends of Gardena Willows Wetland Preserve. This evening I have 2 things to talk about. The first being the information that, if you don't know, this is Earth Month. Earth Day will be on April 22nd, but the day before, Saturday, April 21st, we will be having our Earth Day Restoration Work Day at the Preserve from 8 to 11, and I encourage everyone to come out, and it's in only 3 hours, and do your good community service and feel good about helping support nature. And I want to remind you that the Gardena Willows Wetland Preserve is your property. It's federally protected, so you're coming to help improve your property. It makes a big difference rather than saying you're coming to work on something that's owned by an entity. As you're working on it, you can say, this is mine. And also, I want to remind everyone that on the 28th of April, from 1 to 4, the preserve will be open for self-guided tours. And so this is an opportunity to bring family and friends and to walk around the preserve. And right now, the flowers are in bloom, and the birds are singing, and the butterflies are fluttering around. So it's a great time of the year. The second thing I'd like to say has nothing to do with the preserve. I have lived in the city of Gardena since 1972. And having lived in Gardena all these years, I want to say that Gardena outdid, above and beyond itself, this past Saturday with the wall of that heals at Massaguai Park. It was an extremely beautiful, wonderful, emotional ceremony that was put on. The city did a tremendous job, a job that I want to say will live in history. And I want each and every single person that was involved in any way and spent any amount of time, whether it been 5 minutes or 5 hours or 24 hours, on that project, to pat themselves on the back. And I personally say, thank you. Job well done. Gardena, you shine. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sherman. Next, we're going to move on to department items. Item number 8A1, Mr. City Manager.
Mayor Serta, members of the City Council, agenda number 8A1 is a single audit report required for federally funded programs for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2017. The city is required to have a single audit performed annually on its major federal funds pursuant to the Office of Management and Budget Circular A-133. 3 major programs were reviewed. First, the Community Development Block Grants, Entitlement Grants. Second was the Federal Transit, which we looked at capital investments and formula grants. And third were special programs that included support services, senior centers, and nutrition services incentive program. The Pun Group LLP, certified public accountants, performed a single audit using the generally accepted auditing standards and found no instances of noncompliance material to the basic financial statements of the city, which is great. The auditors identified minor procedural deficiencies but found no material weaknesses in any of the federal grant programs. The review was submitted to the State Controller's Office on March 27, 2018. What is required is to receive and file this report.
Okay, thank you. Does any member of the council have any questions or comments at this time? Councilmember Henderson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Mr. City Manager, in regards to their 2 procedural findings, which is actually was a great audit, we responded saying that we'll have those things tightened up by June 1st, 2018. Are we on target to meet those?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay, are there any other questions or comments? If not, then we're going to receive and file this item here. Okay, moving on next is item number 8B1. Mr. City Manager.
Mayor Serta, members of the City Council, agenda number 8B1 is to conduct a public hearing and adopt ordinance number 1790, amending section 13.40.010 of the Gardena Municipal Code to adopt by reference the 2018 edition of the standards specific for public works construction, also known as the Green Book. This was initially introduced by Mayor Pro Tem Medina on the March 13, 2018 council meeting. Staff respectfully recommends that the City Council conduct a public hearing and adopt ordinance number 1790. Ordinance number 1790 updates the city's use of the Green Book as a standard for construction in the public right-of-way. The city is required to adopt the revised specifications to ensure enforcement of the latest and most appropriate construction practices. There is no fiscal impact. What is required is to open and conduct a public hearing and to adopt ordinance number 1790.
Okay, thank you. So this is a public hearing. It's now open. Does any member of the council have any questions or comments at this time? I just have one question. Okay, go ahead, Mayor Pro Tem.
Would the recycling fees that we always discuss during construction of whether cement or trees or whatever, is that going to be applicable, or does it have to be done at every contract?
No, these are specifications for construction and design. It's not related to the recycling program.
Madam City Clerk, okay, thank you. Do we have any anybody from the audience that'd like to speak on this item?
No, Mayor, we do not.
Okay, I'm sorry, were there any other questions or comments? If not, we're going to go ahead and close the public hearing. And if I can get a motion to adopt ordinance number 1790, I'd appreciate it.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Madam City Clerk, there was a motion made by Mayor Pro Tem Medina and a second by Councilmember Cascanian. Will you call the roll, please?
Mayor Pro Tem Medina.
Yes.
Councilmember Cascanian.
Yes.
Councilmember Tanaka.
Yes.
Councilmember Henderson.
Yes.
And Mayor Serta.
Yes. Next up is item number 8B2, Mr. City Manager.
Mayor Serta, members of the City Council, agenda number 8B2 is a public hearing again. It's introduction of ordinance number 1792, amending chapters 8.40 of the Gardena Municipal Code relating to off-street parking, loading, and amending chapters 18.68 of the Gardena Municipal Code related to transportation demand management. Staff recommends that City Council conduct a public hearing and introduce the ordinance number 1782, amending the following chapters: 1840 related to off-street parking and loading, and 1868 related to the transportation demand management. The change would bring the city's municipal code into compliance with parking standards for accessible parking required by the California Building Code and the parking requirements for vehicles and bicycles required by the California Green Building Code standards, are also known as CalGreens. The changes are already in place due to the fact the state law preempts city ordinances. The other change includes reducing the minimum parking stall length from 20 feet to 18 feet to reflect national standards. On March 6, 2018, the Parking Commission held a duly noticed public hearing, reviewed the proposed changes, and recommended the City Council adopt ordinance number 1782. Required is to conduct a public hearing and to adopt the ordinance number 1792.
Okay, thank you. So at this time, we're going to open a public hearing again. And does any member of the council have any questions or comments? No? Okay. Madam City Clerk, has anybody requested to speak on this item?
No, we do not have any speakers.
Okay. So at this time, we're going to go ahead and close the public hearing. And if I can get a motion to approve ordinance number 1792. Oh, I'm sorry.
Introduction.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is introduction. Can I get a council member to introduce ordinance number 1792?
I'll introduce ordinance 1792.
Okay. Thank you. We don't need a second on that one. Just an introduction. Okay. All right. So moving on to item number 8D1, Mr. City Manager.
Mayor Serta, members of City Council, agenda number 8D1 is to approve the installation of service contract with Play Foundations, Inc. for the installation of the Raleigh Park exercise equipment area with poured-in place rubber surfacing in the amount of $67,211.57. These are always good agenda items bring before City Council because we're enhancing the infrastructure at our parks, which are used significantly by our community. On March 27, 2018, the City Council approved the purchase of an outdoor physical fitness equipment system at Raleigh Park. Staff also requested bids for the installation of the equipment to ensure they had adequate funding to complete the project. 3 bids were received to install the Life Trail Advanced Wellness Outdoor Exercise Equipment Program. Play Foundations came in at $67,211. Dave Bang Associates was at $78,980, and Pro Tech Turf was at $81,358. The quotes include 6 inches of compacted aggregate base and 4 inches of concrete and wire mesh to help stabilize the Adobe underground surface at the park for the walkways. The surface option provides a fully accessible, long-lasting surface for clean, comfortable exercise opportunities. If approved, Play Foundations will begin prep sites within 2 weeks, and equipment should be installed by June 15th. The fiscal impact is $67,211.57. There are multiple funding sources. First is the LA County Prop A excess funds, 2 Park and Lieu funds, and finally C CDBG funds. What is required is to approve the contract with Play Foundations, Inc.
Okay, thank you. Does any member of the council have any questions or comments on this item here? No? Okay. In that case, can I get a motion to approve the contract with Play Foundations from any council member?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Madam City Clerk, there was a motion made by Mayor Pro Tem Medina and a second by Councilmember Kaskanian. Will you call the roll, please?
Mayor Pro Tem Medina,
Yes.
Councilmember Kaskanian,
Yes.
Councilmember Henderson,
Yes.
Yeah, that was a yes, he
yes,
said.
thank you. Councilmember Tanaka,
Yes.
Mayor Serta.
Yes. Okay, moving on to council directives. Does any member of the council have any directives at this time? No? Okay. Moving on to city manager remarks regarding directives.
Mayor Serta, members of the City Council, I have a number of items to report back on. First in your package is a CalPERS Foundation update. This is an update from CalPERS telling cities and all subscribers of the things that CalPERS is doing to update and solidify the fund to ensure it's properly funded. As noted in the attachment, CalPERS has made some significant progress in improving the stability of the fund. The City of Gardena, in the future, I will be bringing a proposal to you to do continued enhancements to ensure that we continue to work on our unfunded liability. Also in your package is a booklet that I've put together for all of you that speak directly to some of the economic development tools the city can use to enhance its ability to recruit and attract different businesses and developments into our city. There's a number of different options there, as you noticed. There's assessment tools that the city can use, community facility districts and business improvement districts, none of which that have been used previously in the past in Gardena, and these are new innovative approaches to doing, improving areas around our city. For example, I couldn't see any reason why we couldn't do a business improvement district in a segment of our community, such as, let's say, Gardena Boulevard, or something like that, where the business owners would agree to assess themselves, and in return, they would provide enhanced amenities to that area, and they would be governed to only direct those funds to that area. It's not something we have used in the past before, but something certainly that we have opportunities to do. There's a number of land use tools also, density bonuses we've heard of before. That's not that uncommon. But there's also the opportunities for development incentives and obviously amending our general plan to provide more flexible planning. That's something that is probably going to be a reoccurring theme from me to the City Council, to provide more participation as we look at enhancements to our general plan, to reach out to not only the elected officials, community members, business owners, and developers to help us look at what's the best use. An example would be, we have a number of mixed-use overlays that were across the city. Members of staff have wondered if that was the best use of our general plan. And so the feedback from developers is, had we been consulted, we may have provided some additional examples or provided multiple varieties of opportunities. There's a number of options to take advantage of opportunity zones that can help us attract businesses. And then finally, I have essentially a chart that gives all of the breakdowns of the pros and cons to using all these different tools to enhance attracting businesses in Gardena. We have not, as I mentioned before, used these tools. They do require a lot of staff support and work, but we have to be competitive in our marketplace, and by using these tools, it does leverage not only city resources but private equity to enhance the livability in Gardena. So more to follow on that. As requested by the City Council, there's an opposition letter to SB 827, which was requested by the California League of Cities, and that is in your package for review. The Lucky Lady Economic Incentive Agreement that we have been working on for several months now and has been presented to the City Council in general terms is very close to completion, and I should hopefully have an agreement to bring back to the City Council by the next council meeting. As you may have noticed as you walked into City Hall, we have a lot of construction going on. The lobby remodel is in full force. We'll be doing some enhancements there for customer service. Next step would be to do some kiosks and some other billboards, not billboards, but displays to provide information to our community members. And then downstairs, which we're really excited about, we're going to have a very large training and meeting room. As you know, training and meeting rooms are at a premium in Gardena, so we'll have opportunities to use that in the future. There was a request for the National League of Cities to look at what the pros and cons would be to joining that. I'm almost finished with that memorandum. We're looking at assessing how the League, California League of Cities, National League of Cities, and what it brings to us, and what are the pros and cons, as well as looking at the cost-benefit analysis of that. Exciting, I put in your package our first community budget forum. We will start marketing this to our community members. This is a request from City Council to engage Gardena stakeholders in the budget process, to let them know how the city gets its funding, where it spends it, and to take comments from the community of what their needs are. That is scheduled for Wednesday, May 9th here at the City Council from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. and I'm hoping to get a good participation from the community. The 2020 census is not that far around the corner, and one of the things that we need to work as a city is to put together a cohesive, collaborative team to make sure that everyone in Gardena is counted. So much funding is dependent on our census numbers. So I will be providing updates to the City Council relative to the formulation of a committee. The committee will not just include staff or elected officials. It should include a broad variety of stakeholders to ensure that we get the proper counts and we're represented well by our numbers. As a reminder, April 16th at 1 o'clock, we will be having a appointment ceremony, swearing-in ceremony for our new police chief, Tom Kang. So I welcome and invite everyone here, and obviously members of the community. One of the new things that we're going to try, as you notice all in front of you on the dais all have water bottles. One of the things, in order to formulate and support a more environmentally friendly approach and sort of walk the walk, we will be providing our City Council and staff with water bottles, filtered water bottles, to support our move to be more green. Those will be provided to you at every council meeting. Don't worry, they'll be filled for you, chilled, and ready for you to go. So, but it's our way of reducing the number of plastic that go into our environment. Lastly, there's a number of park improvements. You just approved one of them. Another exciting park improvement is we're going to have all of our baseball diamonds renovated. So that will be moving forward soon. The cost of that project will come before you later, but it's going to be a nice enhancement to all of our baseball diamonds. And as we have a long list of improvements there, and that's always great for our community to have that. And then lastly, economic development being our focus, I am going to request at some meeting where we have a very light agenda that we have a longer-term study session about the future and vision for economic development and residential development and business development in our community. It is almost daily that I meet with a number of people who want to invest money here in Gardena, and they have some great projects, but the City Council as the policymakers need to be on board, and I would like to have opportunities to express what the vision what your version of the vision of Gardena is, and invite community members at an open session to talk about where are we going in light of all the different things that are going around us. We have a major stadium to our north. We have a major employer that's growing exponentially with SpaceX just to our north. The thought of Silicon Beach from Playa del Rey and Santa Monica moving west is a reality. Ring, many of you have those Ring devices, just moved into Hawthorne. So there's a lot of things going on in this South Bay region, and we want to make sure we're positioned well to ensure we take advantage of as much growth and smart growth as possible. Madam Mayor, that ends my report.
Okay, thank you. Next, we're going to move on to to council remarks. First up is Councilmember Tanaka.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Since our last meeting, a little busy, but fruitful. Attended the 64th installation of officers at our Elks. Congratulations to those that will be leading us in the future, especially Adrian Castaneda, who is our new exalted ruler. I attended Assemblyman Maratsuchi's Senior Scam Stopper at the JCI, teaching seniors how not to get ripped off by contractors, people running scams. The IRS is coming to arrest you if you don't pay us money, things like that. That was a good one. I attended the San Pedro Dalmatians Club Good Friday Fish Luncheon, and I saw Senator Bradford there, so we had lunch together. It was pretty nice. Gardena High School is having their annual all-class picnic. It will be at the Elks this year. So I attended part of that committee meeting. So look forward to some of those dates that are coming up for that. I was really impressed, as Ms. Sherman said, with our city employees, our police department, those that participated and really made this a wonderful event for our city. And for our community. People saw what we did, what we could do, and how impressive it was. Kelly, thank you for all that you did for this event. It was just phenomenal. I was lucky to be here when the wall arrived. It was escorted, stopped at Gardena High School, stopped at Perry, Danker Avenue, lined the streets and cheered for it. And I believe that the people that actually brought that wall here were impressed with our city. I believe that the cities that they've been to have never received them as well as our city did. And that'll be something for us to put in our accolades for city. And so, Kelly, thank you, because having it come that day, but the Saturday event, I know Kelly was worried about rain and how many people would show up, and I think that it really did go well beyond our expectations. We thank former councilperson, decorated Vietnam veteran Vince Okamoto, who is a judge, Superior Court judge. We thank him for his words of wisdom, his speech that he gave. It moved a lot of people. And we had I'm saying we had well over 200 people there, Kelly, so it was really well received. I am so happy, and if you didn't see that wall at night, you don't know what you missed. I walked that wall Thursday night at about 11:30 in the evening by myself. There was hardly anybody there. But to spend an hour and a half there, it was very, very emotional. So thank you. Our city should be very proud of what we did for that. MLK 50th anniversary of Martin Luther King Jr.'s assassination. Thank you for the MLK committee putting that on. It was a very, very good program. And I learned a lot of things that I didn't know before because there were some really good speakers and some information that was put out. So I really do appreciate that ceremony. I went to Gardena Valley Baptist Church where the CERT people from our city had a presentation about data identity theft. And it was put on by our own Sergeant Pepper. very good information. So if you need something about identity theft, call the police department. I'm sure Chief Kang will take care of making sure that you guys get a presentation. And then thank you for my appointed young person, Stephanie. I hope she takes the forefront and does all the things that I've heard that she can do. And so I thank her for being taking that appointment for me. So with that, that ends my report, Madam Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Next up is Councilmember Henderson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Since our last council meeting, I've been busy as well. We've all seen each other at a lot of these events. But I want to start off by giving some accolades and kudos to Specialist Villanueva and Officer Hyde for some graffiti removal that they executed today. I actually got notified by a business owner this morning about some graffiti that was in the community. So right when I was about to contact the city and they were pulling up and taking care of it and everything and all that. So that's even great because now you guys are anticipating what I'm going to do. So that's very impressive. So I want to make sure that they get their acknowledgement for being really proactive and working on their investigation. I also would like to say that on tomorrow, April 11th, there's going to be a Financial Literacy Consumer Resource Fair conducted by the Department of Business Oversight of the State of California. And we now have the confirmed exhibitors. It will be at the Nakioka Center tomorrow, April 11th from 10 to 1. State Controller's Office will be there, Senior Medicare Patrol, LA County Department of Public Health and Emergency Preparedness, the Public Utilities Commission, Workforce Development of Aging, our California Telephone Access Program representatives will be there, as well as U.S. Postal Inspection Services, Department of Insurance, and Department of Business Oversight. So we want to invite the community and welcome the community out to learn some other things that are available to you as residents of Gardena and residents of California. I also want to remind everyone that thank those that came out early for the meeting in the park, which was the same day as the Wall That Heals event. So we were out at Raleigh Park early, then we moved over to Mosfukai Park. I also would like to echo the sentiments of everybody that actually attended, Ms. Sherman and Councilman Tanaka. That was an extremely moving event for those that missed it. You really missed the treat. I think that Gardena, we climbed the ladder quite a bit with that event and the way we hosted it and conducted ourselves. I don't think the folks that run that exhibit were expecting what they expected from a small town. I think we really rivaled anything that could do in any big city in regards to what was happening. We had all our elected leaders there. Our full council was there. Mayor from the city of Carson was there. And if you did not see that exhibit in the evening, I went Wednesday, April 4th, after the MLK recognition of Martin Luther King's assassination. And there was a few folks out there when I got out there about 9:30, 10 o'clock. And everybody kind of sat in silence for about an hour. And it was a nice moment of solitude, paying our respects to those that have paid the ultimate sacrifice. Again, I want to give kudos and a bravo Zulu to all those that were involved with this exhibit. It was just second to none, full of a lot of class and everything else. And I think we've taken it up a notch that we can start doing, I don't know, we can host like a space shuttle landing or something. We can, we can do it all. We can do it all. We can do it all. So we're Gardena. Also, since we've been together, since our last meeting, I attended the Los Angeles Business Federation meeting on government-owned networks, which is kind of part and parcel of what we talk about economic development and whether it's wise or not for a city to have its own fiber network. That's just something that's still in discussion. So I wanted to hear what that conversation was about and everything in regards to what that means for the city of Gardena. Also, I had a chance to teach for 100 Black Men of Los Angeles a youth entrepreneurial class. So I did teach them some of the early understandings of, doing your own strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats when you become an entrepreneur. So that was held at LMU, which is pretty good. So now they want to know if the city of Gardena does something like that. So maybe, Kelly, that's something we could start doing, youth entrepreneurial training or STEM training. We can do it all. So we'll see how that goes. But I tell everybody funding's got to come with it. So, so we want to make sure we do that. On April 21st, I want to remind folks that I will have Open City Hall here at City Hall on 9 to 12, April 21st. And I also had a chance to meet with PBF, the owners of the Torrance Refinery. They were sharing with me some of the new safety things they have in place, and in regards to the hydrofluoric acid and different things that are happening in that facility. So it's pretty educational in regards to what I thought I knew about the refinery, what I was re-educated on, and gave me some more things to think about. So I did do that. Madam Mayor, I think with everything else, because I think we've all been everywhere, so ends my report.
Okay, thank you. Next up is Mayor Pro Tem Medina.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Since our last meeting, I spent approximately 9 days in court on behalf of the state of the city of Gardena. We're in litigation with against the state of California, and what's at stake is about $20 billion that we could save the county of LA. And so far, our legal people feel that we're really ahead of the game. Especially now that the state of California audited itself and found a lot of discrepancies in itself, if you can picture that, thanks to Elmer Asucci, who conducted the audit against California and found that there were a lot of deficiencies in some of the plans that they were trying to impose to the county of LA. I was really happy over the fact that the city of San Diego had a case against the state of California and found out that the mandates were unfunded, and the city of San Diego won. So we're really looking forward to sometime in July or at the end of June to see what the results are of all the hearings that we spent a lot of time in. And I learned a lot about our water situation when it comes to stormwater and sewers. But most importantly, I learned a lot of court procedure, which it's amazing. I respect the people who practice law, because you have to know what you're talking about. And it's the first time in my life, 71 years old, I thought I would never hear a lawyer say, "I don't know." But that's the first time I heard a lawyer say, "I don't know." And luckily it was on the other side, not on our side. So I'm really happy about that. I also got a chance to send out 7 birthday cakes to the convalescent homes here in Gardena. I found out that the Clearview convalescent home specializes in Alzheimer's. They have Alzheimer's diets, they have Alzheimer's exercises, and Alzheimer therapy. And they claim that the mind is another muscle of our body, and if you don't use it, you lose it. So they have a lot of special therapy where they'll have a sign that's spelled BLUE, but it's painted red, and then they ask you, "What color are you looking at?" And it's a good thing to keep that brain working. Anyway, for those of you who want to find out, they have special Alzheimer and dementia diets at Clearview, for those of you who are interested. Also, I attended the Southern California Association of Governments, which are really, really, really working hard on transportation, not only buses, but also rail. And they're coming into a conceptual thing where they have these new units that'll straddle the freeways, and the monorails, like the ones in Disneyland, will actually go over the freeways, which I remember back when I was a kid, the monorail was like really cool. But this is going to float over the freeway, so I don't know how that's going to work out, but they're looking at 2035 for that. I also attended the Water Association, which we're asking, again, people to please conserve water, and they're working really hard at the salt desalination, because the ocean has so much water that we can convert that into drinking water, just in case we come into a real heavy drought. And I also attended the which is the perfect title for that wall. I kept calling it the Vietnam Wall, because when you go to Washington, D.C., that's what it is. And I had a different perspective on it when I got to see it on my own. And being a Vietnam veteran, I saw some names that I knew they died, and I looked all over for them. I spent 2 hours there by myself, and I found some people that I knew. And now I understand why it's called the Healing Wall. It does bring a lot of a lot of things from the past that you get to not necessarily relive, but you get to visit, and I commend Kelly for that, for working that out to a point where the last time I saw this was at Rose Hills about 10 years, 5 years ago, 6 years ago at Rose Hills, and then it also came to Green Hills, but it's nothing like seeing it at home. I spent a couple hours. I said I was going to go to Rite Aid, and I wound up staying at the wall for an hour or two. So, again, Kelly, thank you. I really, really appreciate that. It does heal you, and I'd like to remind you that Cinco de Mayo parade is coming up pretty soon. So, get ready to, celebrate. And that ends my report.
Okay, thank you. And my report will be short. Since the last council meeting, I attended 2 events. The first one was the 50th anniversary of the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King. And I would just like to thank the Martin Luther King Cultural Committee for doing an outstanding job putting that together. The speaker was really great. As Councilmember Tanaka mentioned, there were a lot of things that we learned at that meeting that I had never heard before. So it was really great, and the attendance was really awesome. So I just would, again, like to thank the Cultural Committee for doing an outstanding job. And then lastly, I too attended the Wall, and I don't want to repeat anything that I've heard or that's been said already, but it was pretty amazing. I had the opportunity to go out to the Wall the night before Saturday's ceremony, and at nighttime to see it. And you're correct, it was just amazing to see the Wall lit up that night. And as you were walking along and looking at the Wall, I mean, it just got to be so overwhelming, just looking at the names and just touching it, and it was pretty awesome. So again, I would like to thank the entire committee, the city staff, the veterans Memorial Fund who put this together. A special thanks to Sergeant Gonzalez and Lieutenant Osorio. I know that they put a lot of work into this, not to mention all of the volunteers who were out there. It was great that it was 24 hours a day, because I'm a night person, so I'm the type of person that would go out there at 11 o'clock at night and just walk along there. So it was nice that you had the opportunity to go at your own time when it was, and be safe, because there were people out there. And some interesting information that, after reading about it, you saw the list of names up there, but to know that there were over 58,000 names up there, and 24 of those 58,000 names had been identified as people who at one time lived in Gardena. So that was, pretty special to know that as well. And then also to know that that wall, Gardena was selected as one out of 3 cities that the wall would be displayed at in the state of California. So that was pretty neat as well to know. I had the opportunity to look at the number of places that the wall would go to over the entire year of 2018. So I was very proud to know that we were able to have a part in that and have the wall here for us. So again, I'd just like to thank everyone for all that they did and just making that possible. There are so many people who are still talking about that, the wall. Visitors from outside of Gardena that we told that the wall was going to be here. It was extremely impressive. So again, thank you. And that ends my report. Councilmember Cascania.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Since our last meeting, I attended the Senior Citizen Eastern Luncheon that we served lunch to our senior citizen here at the Nakaoka Center. And on April 4th, me as well, I attended the MLK 58th assassination tribute that happened in Raleigh Park. And thank you to MLK committee for a great program and a great speaker as well. And I would like to echo my colleagues, Ms. Sherman, regarding the wall that heals. I don't want to repeat everything. I was there too as well. I was there at night twice, on Wednesday and Thursday. It is something amazing. I want to thank Kelly Fuji and her staff, Sergeant Rodney Gonzalez, Lieutenant Vince Osorio. Thank you to Congresswoman Maxine Waters for her support. And Kelly, you've done an amazing job, as usual. I don't know what to say. I received a phone call from our neighboring city. One of councilmen, no name mentioned, he asked me how we managed to bring the wall here. And my answer was, we have the best of the best. If you have Kelly Fugio on your team, it makes it happen. So thank you, Kelly Fugio and Councilman Henderson. Believe me, if she has the space, you know, she would launch the space shuttle out of Gardena too. So, yes, thank you very much. You know, it was amazing. I learned a lot of stuff from it. Thank you very much again, Kelly. And that should end my report, Madam Mayor.
Okay, thank you. And let's move on to announcements. I have 3 announcements here. The first one, just a reminder again, the California Financial Literacy Month Resource Fair will be tomorrow, April the 11th, here at the Nakaoka Center from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And for those of you who don't know where the Nakaoka Center is at, it's at 1670 West 162nd Street. And there you'll see exhibitors with free information about consumer protection, savings, credit, insurance, home ownership, and more. So, and that was again hosted by the Department of the Business Oversight and the Gardena Council member Mark Henderson. Also, we have a craft fair coming up on Saturday, April 14th, 2018, for those of you who like to do crafting, from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. That's this Saturday at the Nakaoka Center as well. My understanding on here is that there are over 80 tables and booths to select from. And then also on April 16th, we have our promotion ceremony for our new Chief of Police, Chief Kane, which will be at 1 p.m. I believe it's on the outside quad area here of the Nakaoka Center here. So now as we move on to our remembrances, tonight we're going to adjourn in memory of Mr. Jose Cruz, who was 82 years old, and the beloved father of Joseph Cruz, who was our director of the City of Gardena General Services Department. Mr. Cruz was a veteran of the U.S. Navy and a retiree from Hughes Aircraft Company. He is survived by his wife, Corazon, 3 sons, and 3 grandchildren. So tonight, the Gardena City Council meeting will adjourn to our next regularly scheduled City Council meeting, which will be at 7 p.m. on Tuesday, April 24th, 2018. We are adjourned.